covering the stories that impact your life, your town, your state, and your future. This is the Means Report with your host, Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Means Report. We appreciate you spending part of your day with us, where today we have an information-packed edition of the Means Report. The folks from Valor Station are here, a brand new facility to help our first responders. Also, debris cleanup. Steve Castle with before and after pictures you have to see. And we'll end it with ways that you can stay in touch. But first, I want to welcome a couple of folks from Valor Station. My special guests today, Dr. Matthew Carpenter and Andy Carrier, both co-founders of Valor Station, along with Cliff Richards, our friend from the Hale Foundation. He's been on the Means Report. But now it's all about Valor Station, just moments away really from opening. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So my attempt to summarize all of the great things that Valor Station is going to do would be to say that you all can help first responders with all sorts of issues, in particular PTSD, addiction, anything that our first responders go through. Valor Station is there to help. Is that a fair assessment, first of all, Matt?
Yes. Yeah.
So what made you all determine the need for this, where you thought, okay, this is a part of our society that needs our help, we'll start Valor Station?
Yeah, well, starting being in law enforcement, I retired from law enforcement after 20 years just last year.
Yeah, you were NYPD and Rochester Police Department.
Yep, City of Rochester after I did the NYPD. Got involved. I had a friend and coworker take his own life on his 20th work anniversary.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, thank you. So am I. It was a terrible thing, but that's what really started me down the path. So, we've gotten involved in different. Andy and I and other colleagues and friends of ours work in various nonprofit organizations that tackle this. It just became a thing that we really had to address, and so we've worked for many years, trying to prevent those things and trying to help people. One of the struggles we really had was, where can we take somebody that needs maybe the next level of care? Something a little bit more than just some peer work or talking to, or maybe even more than just the occasional meeting with a therapist. And we've struggled. So we finally decided, well, hey, why don't we do it ourselves?
Andy, talk about your time with the Georgia State Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see similar issues, as Matt just mentioned so sadly? Did you see those with your brothers and sisters on State Patrol, where the stress sometimes became too much?
Oh, absolutely. And, the thing of it is, I think we've kind of made the turn. But back in the day, that was just part of it. You sucked it up, you moved on, it was part of the culture, and you knew that getting into the profession. But there got a point where we said, look, this doesn't have to be. We see things that the human beings aren't supposed to see and experience. First responders, police, fire, EMS, we will see more critical incidents in 1 month than most will ever see in a lifetime. And it was just time to do something about it.
What do you do when you witness things like that? Because, we talk about that here at News Channel 6. We read the stories and talk about the horrors that go on in our community every day, but you all see them firsthand. We don't show those kind of pictures on TV. What do you just compartmentalize it, Matt, and try to pretend like it didn't happen when you clock out?
It really varies. Yes, that's probably the main thing that people try to do is compartmentalize, and that becomes a challenge. You can only pack so much away before things start to overflow and you don't have any room to pack anymore.
Yep.
The problem is, or in my opinion, a big problem is it's the smaller ones that really add up. The big events that people have, not to discredit or diminish those at all, but when somebody has a large, crazy event that they've been a part of, they know, like, hey, that's the date and time that my life changed. A big problem with first responders is it's all these little ones, responding to a domestic violence situation, seeing, infants, problems, whatever, not to get graphic or gory, but, those sorts of things, you're human, they weigh on you.
Yeah,
and
sure.
You try to push them aside, but, after 20, 30 years of doing it day in and day out, you have to find healthy ways to deal with these things, and it's hard.
So, Andy, if someone's watching right now and they say, oh my goodness, they're speaking my language, I identify with everything they've said so far, how do they get help at Valor Station? Do they walk up and knock on the door? Or do they have to be referred?
They can walk up, they can knock on the door, they can be referred, they can go to our website, they can call us. So yes, all the above.
I saw on your website that you also help people like dispatchers and those in the corrections business. Corrections, I can picture it because, you know, things can get sideways on the inside real quick. What about dispatchers, Matt? What are they? Is it just the things they hear?
Well, you know, they're really the first ones because, you know, when you call 911, that's who you're getting. They're sending the police or the fire or the EMS, but the dispatchers are the one taking the call. You know, the big problem with dispatchers or the big problems that dispatchers have to deal with is they don't get any closure. You know, once the police department, the fire department, the paramedics show up, you know, they disconnect the call and they take the next one and they're left, you know, they're right there with that person going through their worst day of their life. And then, okay, police are here, fire department's here, paramedics are here, click, hello, 911, what's your emergency?
Right.
You know,
And you never even find out how it ended.
Right.
Andy, let me ask you this. If someone does knock on that door, they do get referred and they enter into the world of Valor Station, how long do they have to stay? What's it look like in there while y'all are giving them help? Are there doctors, counselors?
Yes, all the above.
Okay.
So, you know, there is not really, we have a model, but within that model, there's not really a cookie cutter approach because so many of the people that will come with different issues. Let's face it, you know, you can say law enforcement, for example. You go, the hiring process is a long journey, psychological testing, polygraph, background. So you can pass all those things, and maybe there's something from a long time ago that affected you, but it was lying dormant in that box that we talked about. And then you go through a critical incident and it comes out. You know, stress and trauma, it's linked joined at the hip. And sometimes you don't realize it until later, until something happens.
Can you stay there? Do y'all have residential capabilities or is it an outpatient type of environment?
So our programs, it's an intensive outpatient program.
Got it.
Okay, but for people that can commute, they can obviously come, they can, you know, be treated, be serviced during the day and then go home. But for people from outside of the area, we have supportive housing. Currently, we have 12 beds. It's a beautiful historic home that's been refinished. It's like Airbnb. It's truly beautiful. But we have 12 beds right now for people that either are from outside the area or, you know, even if somebody from the area, if it would benefit them for their, you know, recovery or process that, you know, maybe they need to kind of get out of their home for a little bit. We will house them, we'll feed them, everything.
So this isn't just local folks. People from anywhere can come to Valor Station.
Oh, yes.
What about the ability to pay? Is this something where insurance would kick in? How's all that work? Either
Yes.
one of y'all.
Yeah, so we will take insurance, but as a 501c3, there are some agencies around that do not offer health insurance. So if someone comes to us with an issue, we're not going to turn them away. You know, much like St. Jude's, if you have a child with cancer, the last thing you should worry about is money. If you come to us and something happens to you as a result of emotionally, physically, psychologically, as a result of something happens at work, you should not have to worry about money. So we'll cover anything that's out of pocket.
All right, so let's say that you are a client of Valor Station and you do begin the healing process and you do start to feel better. What about after you're discharged from y'all's care? Do you teach people coping skills so they can handle things on their own? Can they circle back to you?
So all of the above. Part of the process, you know, part of the program that they're going to go through is learning skills, is making those sorts of connections. But part of what we do is we're going to set up a discharge plan where wherever they're located, we're going to get them connected with culturally competent clinicians, a primary care physician if they need one, if they don't have one or need a new one, you know, peer support groups, all that sort of stuff. At the same time, if somebody is within commuting distance, they're able to come back and, you know, receive additional, you know, if they just want to come for the day or they, you know, any outpatient type services, we'll offer those as well. But no one will leave without a treatment plan for discharge and the support that they need. And then again, we're always available to them if they either call or stop by.
Andy, I was going to ask you, and just a couple more questions. I was going to ask you how long treatment takes, but you told us there's really no cookie cutter approach. Each case is different, but maybe I would just ask you, when could someone start to see the light? If they're in a dark place right now and they want Valor Station's help, when could you start to make them realize, okay, I can beat this?
It's different for everyone, but Matt and I and one of our coworkers named Jim Banish, who's also from New York, he's a big part of what we do. We take part in what's called a post-critical incident seminar, 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So much of what we do at the acronym's PCIS, what we do there, we will also utilize at Valor Station. And we see a turn after the second day.
Oh,
we always say by lunchtime the second day, look at the different expressions on their face.
Oh my goodness.
So it'll happen pretty quickly. And a lot of it is because who you're with. You're with people who get it. One of our mottos is for first responders, by first responders. So we can relate.
Last question to both of y'all. Anything we can do to help you? Can the community support Valor Station?
Oh yeah, 100%. For one, just letting people know we're here. Okay. If you have friends, family, coworkers, congregation members, whatever, that are first responders, let them know that we're here and able to help them. We're a nonprofit, like Andy said. Our goal, because one of the main hurdles in any of this sort of treatment is not just getting people there, but the obstacle of high costs to get these sorts of treatments and services.
Yep.
And as a nonprofit, part of our mission is to raise funds so we can then cover those out-of-pocket expenses. So when somebody comes to Valor Station, receives our services, they don't have to leave with this looming financial burden that they now have to try to figure that out, which only exacerbates the problems they were having before they came.
I'm sure that what you all have talked about today, Matt and Andy, will resonate with people, and you will get that support. We'll have the information for Valor Station on our screen so that you can reach out to them. Thanks for what y'all do overall for our community, and especially for those who protect and serve. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.